Hello, good afternoon. How are you? I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life. Not necessarily in that order, like I did. I hope you're well. We are well. And thank you for allowing me to be part of your Saturday, if indeed you are watching this live. And today's topic is just what the title implies, the thumbnail. Is keto sustainable? Because sometimes that is not presented in question form. Sometimes it's presented, oh, it's not sustainable. I beg to differ. First of all, I hope everyone can see and hear me. It's always a question. Please let me know. Okay, very good. Hello, people chiming in. Hey, Suzanne. So this comes up a lot, actually. Even, so say you're feeling better. Let me back up. Let me tell you what the ketogenic protocol, as I learned it and as I have practiced it, to my great satisfaction. Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams a day, total carbs, not net, or fewer. So 20 or fewer a day, total, not net. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a food list. I mean, really, if you just stick with keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer, it's pretty much going to cover everything because you can't eat too much of non-page 4 foods before you're over 20 grams. But anyway, don't eat if you're not hungry and stop when you're satiated. And those last two are by far the most challenging because we sometimes have to relearn what hunger is. But so many people start this change, some to lose 10 pounds. Okay, that's fine. Some people lose 250 pounds. Some people for health reasons. I myself was morbidly obese for 30 years. You may see photographs from my previous life. Hey, Scott. At my blog, those were not my heaviest days. I've actually lost 115 and a half pounds from my heaviest, but 97.6, 97.4. See, I'm trying to give myself an extra 0.2 of a pound since starting the ketogenic protocol. So anyway, I've given up on losing weight. I tried. Like you can all fill in the blanks. We've been there. I just didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes, and I knew that was coming up. So I Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes. Came across the famous white coat video of Dr. Eric Wessman of Duke University, who I'm now happy to say is a friend and great person in general. And the message was keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. And page 4 was page 4 of a 5-page handout that he gives his clinic patients at Duke. And don't eat if you're not hungry. So I was in a pretty low place. So I said, I can do that. So I started, and I started feeling better. I started losing weight. Not, it didn't fall off of me in sheets. I was a normal gradual loser. So over the course of 3 years, I lost the 97.4 pounds. And I had a lot to lose because I'm 5'1". So imagine how much weight there is on a small frame, 97.4 pounds. So I started doing it and I felt better. And other people have started doing it and feel better. But then you say, what are you doing? And maybe even your medical provider says, hey, I see you've lost 23 pounds. That's great. What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing keto. Oh, well, glad you've lost weight, but that's really not sustainable. Has anyone heard that before from anyone, including a medical provider? Has anyone been told, or has it been implied that this is not a sustainable way to eat? I have. But it's sustainable. I've been doing this for over 7 years, and not because I have superhuman strengths. I'm the opposite. I am not and I did not sustain it in previous low carb attempts. I knew since 1977 low carb worked for me. But it wasn't that I couldn't sustain it. I didn't sustain it. I chose to eat the bagel that day after I lost some amount of weight. Sorry, I'm distracted. There are a ton of birds right outside my patio door. Oh, let me interrupt myself. I'm asked every single time. I only drink this on Saturdays during YouTube Lives. What am I drinking? Hashtag Casey's Pink Drink. Glass filled with ice. Mostly diet tonic water, a splash of diet cranberry, and a squeeze of lime. That's it. Diet tonic water, diet cranberry. Okay. Now, why would someone say it's not sustainable? Well, they might believe it. They might have bought into the clap trap that it just doesn't make sense to eliminate an entire food group. But who says that to people who are, all about the meatless burgers, the plant-based pretend meat? Is that not eliminating an entire food group? Meat. When you go vegetarian, which is fine. I have no problem with vegetarians. I would not sustain that. I could if someone said, here's $10 million, become a vegetarian for 7 years. I guess I could do it. I wouldn't like it. I would not be happy about it. I'd be happy about the $10 million. But why do we think? I think it's some projection. Maybe the person saying that or implying it, they feel like they couldn't sustain it. I can't give up French fries. I'm not going to give up French fries. Okay, that's fine too. This is not for everybody. This is not the diet for everybody. And when I'm using the word diet, I'm using it as a noun, not as a verb. It is a diet, just like a kosher diet is a kosher diet. It is a protocol. It's a nutrition protocol. It's a diet. So, anywho. But this is not for everybody. And maybe it's not for somebody right now, but maybe it will be when they get to that point where I was, where I felt so bad physically and mentally that I thought, is this what I've got to look forward to for the rest of my life, however long I've got, to feeling like this? It's a chronic situation is just that. It's chronic and it creeps up on you bit by bit. Brick by brick, layer by layer, incident by incident, bad mood by bad mood. Unlike an acute situation where, oh my gosh, I cut my finger off with the chainsaw. That's an acute situation. But not feeling well can be so gradual that we don't realize what's happening until it hits critical mass. See, I just feel lousy. Why? So, is it sustainable? Let's ask ourselves logically this. Why would it not be sustainable? Thinking. It's certainly not because it's not healthful. It's a very healthy way to eat. Nutrient dense, can be quite affordable. It's very satisfying. It meets all of our body's needs if we, eat the food as it's prescribed. Fatty sources of protein. Eat the fat that comes with the protein. It's not a high-fat diet. You're not pounding back fat. It's just not a low-fat diet. And so since it's not low-fat, it appears to be high-fat. It's just that it's not low-fat. The protein stays about the same depending on your needs, your stage of life, your gender, your body composition, etc. But it's not a super high-fat diet. You're not looking to do MCT oils and butters in your coffee and fat bombs and all that stuff. That can be counterproductive. But why would it not be sustainable? I eat the same thing everybody else eats. I just lay off the carbs. Pork chop? Yes. Thank you. Ground beef? Absolutely. Thank you. Cabbage coleslaw? Yes, a little bit. Not unlimited. Eggs? Yes, eggs. Bacon, sausage, Italian sausage, steak, poultry with the skin, salmon. Tonight we're going to have shrimp and scallops. I eat it the same thing everybody else does. I just lay off the carbs. Why would that not be sustainable? Do we think that nature intended us to be grazing on sugar? And make no mistake, bran muffin, Snickers bar, bagel, chocolate chip cookie, it's all sugar as far as our liver is concerned. It all comes out as simple sugar. Do we logically think that that's better? So, and let's change the scenario. So, would someone tell us this, whether it's a medical provider or second cousin? So, carbs are detrimental to me. Not, they're not poison. I just have a very low tolerance for consuming them before I have an insulin response. That's really what this is about. It's about insulin. And I just have a low tolerance before, bing, insulin response happens. And insulin's job is to push glucose out of the blood and into the cells as fat. That's one of its jobs, is to regulate blood sugar. But okay, so in my case, carbs are detrimental to my health and happiness. Okay. And I say, what are you doing? I'm cutting out carbs. Oh, that's not sustainable. I'm glad you feel better, but that's not sustainable. Okay. Let's say that I have emphysema and COPD and a hacking cough, and my lungs don't look so great. But I give up tobacco. And someone realizes, wow, the doctor says you sound much better, and actually your eyes are brighter. And what have you done? Oh, I laid off the cigarettes. Would that person say, oh, that's great that you feel better, but that's really not sustainable? What if someone said, I realize that you really are in love with this person, but marriage is not sustainable. Now, in truth, for some of us, it's a struggle. My husband and I were warned off of each other by everybody, which made sense. We were super young, and we didn't speak the same language, and we knew each other a couple of months, and we got married. Made sense to warn us off. But we have sustained, and this year it will be 41 years of marriage. It took work, and so does sticking to this protocol. It's simple, but navigating the world and other people's opinions about it. By the way, we don't invite other people's opinions about whether we can do this, do we? Do we say, I'm doing this, I feel really good. Do you think I can keep it up? And how rude of someone to say it's not sustainable. Think of all the other things that we do for our betterment, and we do them. Would anyone say, well, that's great that you did that, but it's not sustainable? It is sustainable. I've been doing it 7 years, and I came from a place of, I didn't get to be that round by not having issues with food and with my self-esteem and I told myself what I couldn't do. I actually said, I can't resist tortilla chips for the rest of my life. And I couldn't until I did. And now I could give a tinker's whatever about tortilla chips. It's just, they're irrelevant to me. I will enjoy the shrimps and scallop tonight because yummy. I don't need tortilla chips to enhance that meal. What else do you need? What did we have last night? I had a little sliver. It was the world's largest pork chop I cooked. A bone-in pork chop. It was huge. And I cooked it in the air fryer. And I took off a little bit for myself. And I got a little saucer. Did we have secondary food with that? Oh, sliced tomato. Like a slice of a tomato. Like we took a half a tomato, took 2 slices, and that was it. It was delicious. Somebody else in the world was probably eating pork chop and tomato. They just happened to have a biscuit along with it. So we ate the same thing. We just laid off the biscuit. You know what I mean? Okay, I want to turn my attention to those who are here. I so much appreciate you guys showing up and allowing me to be part of your day. Michelle, I have missed you. I've been thinking about you. My lovely mate has asked about you. Everything okay? If you mess up, you have to get back on the horse. Yeah. Don't toss in the towel and say, well, I shouldn't have eaten that, so now I guess I'll eat a whole bunch more. I mean, we have to be logical with ourselves. People reach out to me, well, I was doing okay, but I wasn't losing very quickly, so I got frustrated, so I just went out and got a bunch of Cheetos. Would that really make you lose weight faster? We are illogical. Humans are weird. Let's just face it. I'm writing a piece for my blog on self-sabotage. I don't have any answers. I have a bunch of questions. But only humans do this. Hey, Marie, everything good takes work. Nothing good is easy. Very little. Except my dog, Jack. He's easy. Okay, let me tell you what. I took Jack to the vet. It's a good thing that he's really cute and I like him a lot. He's healthy. $528.35 for checkup, blood work, heartworm, flea, tick medication. Yeah, it's a good thing I like him. Pamela Jones writes, I love keto for health and it's easier on my wallet than anything else I've ever tried diet-wise. People think it's too expensive. No, the cheap ground beef is perfectly fine and yummy. Make yourself up a little fake taco if you want. A little ground beef, seasonings, get some shredded cheese, and use a cabbage leaf as the taco shell. What we use are folios, which we really like. They truly are low carb, and they're very filling. We get them at Costco. So I have trouble if we make a taco, and sometimes my husband, he's a more interested cook. I'm just not interested in cooking. But he'll take the time and dice everything up. We'll have our little taco bar. And he gets them, you zap them for 30 seconds or 60 seconds, whatever he does. You fold them quickly into the shape. And I have trouble finishing one. Not because I'm, so they're just very filling. But anyway, yes, you don't have to eat expensive stuff. The shrimp and the scallops that we're cooking, I pulled them out of the outdoor freezer. I put them in food saver things, portioned, almost exactly a year ago. So, and we got more. This is like I portioned each thing into 3. So anyway, I don't miss the bad stuff anymore. People find it difficult to believe that you can quit wanting certain things or that you lose your hunger, lose your appetite. Okay, so I've done this for 7.5, not quite 7.5, 7 years. I know there are people who've done it for longer. Jackie Eberstein's been doing it since 1974. And let me tell you what, there is not a crisper mind around. She doesn't forget anything. She can explain anything. Ask her any topic. I might have to have her back for another Casey's Keto Connections announcement. June 29th, I believe it is. Dr. Georgia Eade will be my guest for the next Casey's Keto Connections. She's so smart. She's a psychiatrist. She talks and studies and writes about how nutrition impacts mental conditions. Fascinating. Elita's Keto Journey. Hey, keto has saved my life. I thoroughly believe that it saved mine. Not that I was on death's door. It saved me from almost certain decline, physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. And I know it cleared up my chronic depression. And not because I lost weight. I wasn't depressed because I was fat. That didn't help. I'm pretty sure it was biochemical. The insulin spikes and everything else. Michelle writes, the tea house has posts and a floor working outside a lot. So Michelle up in Michigan is building herself an external tea house. I'm so pleased. I have to go see it. Marie writes, someone brought in donuts yesterday that I wouldn't have been able to pass up back in the day. And I had no desire. Michelle, Marie, do you find this sustainable? Can you think of a reason it would not be sustainable? I want to say hello to patrons who are here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. A little shout out to I have a private support group on patreon.com where, depending on your pledge level, I do 20 little video snippets a month for patrons only, a handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast, and a handful of patron-only video group sessions on Zoom. And it is a true support group. I mean, I tell you what, some of the video sessions are deep. And it's really good to know that other people, we almost never talk about the food. Food is pretty straightforward. But man, how we got to where we are is fascinating. Funny stories. Lily Gordon writes, question, I've been on keto for 1 month. On days I eat keto-approved veggies, I have sugar cravings. Did anyone else have this experience in the beginning? I'll let other people say, now when you say keto-approved, are you also limiting them? Because, vegetables are not unlimited. They're unlike Weight Watchers and other diet programs where they say vegetables are free. Just eat as many as you want. No, it's limited. Non-starchy vegetables, limited to about a cup or about the size of your fist a day maximum. That's pre-cooked. And leafy greens, about 2 cups or the size of 2 fists. Maximum. It is not 7 cups of leafy greens a day minimum. Wrong. It's just wrong. So they're not unlimited. And the only thing I really measured in the beginning was I got my OXO food scale out. I highly recommend. And I had to measure vegetables because I grew up on the free vegetables. So I'll make a half of a large dinner plate of broccoli. No. You want about 3 ounces of vegetable, which is about 4 broccoli spears, depending on what they are. So you can even be in ketosis, but if you're in that uncanny valley where you're having too many carbs, even though you're having few enough that you're in ketosis, burning fat for fuel, but more than maybe is right for you, it can trigger cravings. So I look at your, hey, Lori. The Patreon group is awesome, everyone. The snippets are great and the calls. Okay, I'll tell you what. Patrons get to see me without makeup or with yesterday's makeup, bedhead, sometimes pre-coffee. Very often, my lovely mate will be passing the mug of coffee in front of me as I'm talking. And the patrons post the topic questions on a spreadsheet I have. Marie writes, very much so, sustainable, appreciate you, fellow patrons, and my friend Monica. Monica has hung by me for years. She's my bestie. That's nice. How nice. Okay. Shameless Commerce Division of Go Keto with Casey. I'm just trying, like I said, I'm just trying to earn my keep around here. There's you don't have to buy any product to be 100% successful. But below my videos, you can see my Teespring shop. And this is a Go Keto with Casey steel, very tall water bottle. My husband wanted one, so I bought him one too. And at my blog, you can see my spiral Go Keto with Casey 12-month record book. I've got too much stuff going on here. And it takes me a while to get them out because I do the fulfillment. If you want a perfect bound version, you can get that at Amazon. And if you have Prime, you get the shipping for free. And this is a couple of bucks cheaper anyway. And a recent, newly, again, bestseller, a magnet. Are you here out of habit or out of hunger? And if hunger is not the problem, food is not the answer. So anyway, like I said, you don't have to buy anything. These are just things. Lori, Miko's Danes writes, just throwing in a little to ensure you're able to continue doing what you do with this channel and helping all of us. Many hugs. You're most generous. That's a super chat, which is a very generous and much appreciated thing. Some of you don't know. I didn't grow up wanting to have a YouTube channel talking about, how fat I was and how now my carbs are under control. I had a really lucrative career for 30 years. And I was good at it and I enjoyed it. And then this life-changing situation happened. And I realized how much of my life I had retreated from. And how, because I didn't feel good about myself. And I assumed people, well, people have never treated me like I was anything other than very bright. But people judge on appearance. And they assume if you look a certain way, then you're either not quite as intelligent, or you're a slob, or whatever. So I just, instead of exposing myself to what I thought people might be thinking, bit by bit, I started retreating. And so when I started feeling better and came back from retreating, I realized how much talent in the world has been lost to our communities by people who felt as I did. I'm overweight. I don't feel well. I don't have much energy. So there goes entrepreneurship, volunteerism, creativity, uh, all the stuff. So as I talked about it, and then I made I think my first video I made on my iPhone, I think I was testing my blood sugar a long time ago. One thing led to another. And while the other career was lucrative, this one is extremely rewarding. So thank you, Lori. I appreciate it. Enough about me. The magnet is awesome. Andrea L. writes, I had an emotional day yesterday. I was wanting some chocolate to feel better. I decided it wasn't going to make me feel better. The next day, if hunger is not the problem, food is not the answer. Isn't that right? And so good for you. Congratulations. Also, you can get on my Teespring. This is my best-selling t-shirt from Teespring. I'm stronger than a cookie. Go Keto with Casey. Because we have kind of talked ourselves into being victims of food. I'm powerless against, whatever your kryptonite is. People will refer to certain foods as their kryptonite. Okay, full disclosure. I fully expect my lovely mate, who's stopping at the store on his way back from the airport, he flies on Saturdays when he can, he'll be bringing in peanut butter. Some of you know the story about the peanut butter and how I was factual but not truthful when my husband asked me what happened to the peanut butter. It's not that he wanted the peanut butter. We use the peanut butter to load traps because we're overrun with chipmunks, and chipmunks can be very damaging. We already have foundation issues. So, I wish they would, a Pied Piper would come in and just take them all away, but there's no Pied Piper here. So peanut butter is a good thing. I've tried different things. I'm telling you right now, I will really want to eat that peanut butter. But I commit to you, and you can ask me about it next week, and I promise I will be honest. I'm not going to have any peanut butter, but I'm having to prepare myself for that situation in advance. I'm not even joking. Scott Ramsey. Oh, Princess Ninja and Keto. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything you do. You are my voice of reason. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Scott Ramsey, you've noticed he has an avocado next to his name. I think he's a member of the club on YouTube. I would never have believed a year ago that I would come to live a life without slices of bread from a functional angle. Turns out that there are a lot of other ways to get the food in one's mouth. There are other delivery mechanisms, right? You don't have to have it slathered on bread or on a pizza crust or on a tortilla chip, right? My sons came with their families to visit a couple of weeks ago, and they'll eat anything. I mean, they're not, but they're pretty healthy. They eat more vegetables than we do. I got an English cucumber, and I two of them, sliced it in little angle things, and I made some homemade ranch dressing. Delivery mechanism, not chips. Cucumber. Thank you for that, Scott. Yes. And when we can tell people, yes, a year ago, I wouldn't have believed it if my blood sugar was under control, if I could come off my acid reflux medication, if I slept through the night without sleep apnea, if I didn't need a nap in the middle of the afternoon, that I could fit back into those pants I haven't been able to fit in 3 years. The stories are endless. Here's the thing, though. Keep it simple. Do what you want to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I do. I keep it simple. All I do is concentrate on the grams of carbs. And I don't even have to do that anymore. I just don't eat many carbs. I'm probably at sub 10, 8, 7 carbs a day. Unless I have some vegetables, then it goes up. And I don't eat that many vegetables. My husband likes them, and he can tolerate them better than I. He's at his ideal weight and has been since 18 minutes after he started doing this. That's what I concentrate on. The most challenging thing is not eating if not hungry and stopping when satiated. And I'll tell you a very good trick, very useful. Slow up when you're eating. I have to slow up because very often we will find that we have inhaled all the food, it's all keto friendly and it's all that, so fast that the leptin, the satiety hormone, has not had a chance to get upstairs and say, you've had enough. So if we slow up, satiety hormone kicks in. There's still some food on the plate. You know what? I don't need this. I'll save this. I'll save this for tomorrow. Somebody just wrote me and said, I realized I didn't want it, so I stopped eating and I gave it to the hens. Give it to the dog. Put it away for tomorrow. And although it rubs people the wrong, throw it away. It's either going to be gone. If you eat it all, it's going to be gone. If you throw it away, it's going to be gone. Better it should go to waste than waste. That's an old one. Andrea L. writes, people are trained that they need a magic pill and don't need to look at the root cause of the problem. It's absolutely it. And sometimes the root cause is actually the carbohydrate. We are wired to want more carbs if we're burning sugar for fuel. That's how we evolved. But it was only supposed to ever be an emergency fuel. You couldn't get a wildebeest or a jackrabbit, and so you're eating these leaves? There must be a problem, because certainly you would eat a wildebeest or a jackrabbit or a gazelle and not be eating these stupid leaves. So you better pile on the leaves right now until you can find a gazelle or a jackrabbit or a wildebeest. But the thing is, we don't have any of those emergencies. It's all carbs all the time. Hey, Jennifer, Deb, chocolate isn't on page 4. Uh-oh, did somebody want chocolate? Yeah, chocolate's not on page 4. Karen Komoski writes, Casey looks healthier as the years go by. Have looked at her earlier videos, looking at people eating a different way. They seem to deteriorate. Keto people seem to thrive. I will tell you, thank you for that nice compliment. I feel fantastic. Makeup, camera angle, and lighting. Just saying. People who have met me in person can attest to that. I need a lighting crew to go around with me. And filters. But I feel good. Really good. I feel very good. That's the key. All right. I am going to start to wind. Is there anything else I need to do? So in June, we're going to have Durham Support Group meeting online with Dr. Wessman and me. Wednesday Wine Day with Amy Berger and me. And Casey's Keto Connections with Dr. George Eid. I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll post all that. And just, try to, when other people are poo-pooing what you're doing, what is the phrase? There's something about, if people tell the person who's leading the pack that they can't be done, or they're not leading, someone else knows the quote better. But just let them, if someone says, Casey, that's not sustainable, you can just think in your head, bless your heart. And we know what that means. We know in the South what that means. Just don't be deterred by other people's projection of what they can't do, apparently, or they don't know that they can do it. They feel they can't do it. So much better that you can't do it rather than you do it, feel better, look better, act happier, and then they're stuck back at the starting line. Okay, friends, thanks a lot. Thank you for the support. I very much appreciate you. And aren't you proud of Jack not making a ruckus today? I'm very proud of Jack. $528.35, for heaven's sake. All right, guys.